I bet you can remember Chris Pincher. Bit of a groper that he was. Even Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson, when he put him in that job as a minister in the Foreign Office, he referred to him as, Chris Pincher, the Pincher. He still gave him that job. Well, he got a bit drunk one night. That he did. At the Carlton House and groped a bloke. Yeah, touched him up. He did. Lovely man. Not. Well, I kind of forgot all about it until I see it again in the press this morning, and I thought, what the hell? Is he still an MP? And yes, he was. This is like a year ago now. Almost a year ago. It's nuts. Why is he still there as an MP? I know he stepped down, resigned from the Foreign Office, but why was he still there? He should have been pushed out then for what he did. It's like the Owen Patterson, it started with him, didn't it? For lobbying. They tried to hold on to him as long as they possibly can, and they tried to change the rules so they could. Obviously it didn't work. And as such, he had to resign. I got pushed down. It's been one scandal after another under Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson. Richie Sunak is no better. He really isn't. So, if you remember, Mr Pincher was elected as a Conservative MP, but was suspended from representing the party in Parliament last year after the allegations emerged. This is in the BBC. I know it's the BBC, but you know, some articles are easier to read, if you know what I mean, with less adverts. Well, although I have to admit, the BBC seem to have a lot of adverts these days. Anyway, following reports about his conduct at the club, Mr Pincher, the Pincher, apologised for drinking far too much and embarrassing himself and other people. These people represent you, you know. These stories, they spread far and wide, and, the world gets to know that Parliament is full of sex offenders. He's not alone, is he? We've had kiddie fiddlers and all sorts in there. Usually Tories, but other parties aren't, you know, they're not exempt, no. Now, after the allegations emerged, ministers insisted that the former Prime Minister was not aware of the specific allegations against Mr Pincher, yet he called him Chris Pincher the Pincher. And there he was being interviewed by some lass on the, you know, and when he was asked about Owen Patterson and Chris Pincher, what have you, he pretended to yawn, as though it's a boring topic. What a sociopathic psychopath is Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson. Thank God he's no longer Prime Minister, but look what we've got now. He's no better. No. Little Richie Sunak, he's like Fembot. Wonder if he's got machine gun jabblies. Well, anyway, the BBC later reported that Mr Johnson was made aware of the formal complaint about Mr Pincher's inappropriate behaviour while he was a Foreign Office Minister between 2019 and 2020. Now, dozens of ministers submitted their resignations in the wake of the controversy, prompting Mr Johnson, who was already under pressure over the Partygate scandal, to resign as Prime Minister. In fact, man, yeah, there was a lot of letters. A lot of letters, yeah. Not just the letters, but a lot of letters to get rid of them. And then we got Liz Truss, who also got beaten by, not to say a letter, but letters. Oh dear. I just find it flabbergasting. I didn't realise he was still working as an MP, if you can call it working, that is. I haven't seen him in Parliament. No. So, as such, there's likely to be another by-election for Richie Sunak to cope with. Is it the 4th or the 5th now? I think it's the 4th, isn't it? Or was it the 3rd? Recent ones, it is. In the last 4 to 6 weeks. It's nuts. Everything's falling apart. I can really see that the government is going to be forced to do a general election sooner than we actually think, because they can't do anything. Even with their 80-seat majority, they've now got this, well, they've got the ERG, and now they've got the New Conservatives, all rallying against Richie Sunak. They can't, do a 19, get no letters in to get Richie Sunak. Look, they can't get another Prime Minister in to head, the leader of the Tory party. What an absolute shambles. And it's all, it stems from Boris Johnson. All because a load of idiots, I call you what you are. You want the Brexit. I just want my Brexit, they said. And they got their flipping Brexit. I'm standing on the route. It's quite hard standing on the route and balancing. Well, they got their Brexit. And what a disaster that is. It's destroyed the country, destroyed our reputation around the world, and destroyed our ability to freely trade around the world. Some people say differently, I know, because of CPTPCTCP. Oh, God, this is getting painful, it really is. Do you know what, though? I say this to the missus sometimes, and it's like, when people are being foolish now, I sort of say to her, I just don't suffer fools. I don't, I find it difficult. Because if things are obvious and just blatantly obvious, it just feels foolish for people to make the same mistakes again and again and again. If you, walking down the street and there's a flipping hole in the street, you might fall down it the first time because you didn't realise it was there. But once you know it's there, you're not going to fall down it again. If you keep falling down that flipping hole, there's something wrong with you. There really is. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, I'm at Chateau de Rochefoucauld here in France and the Charente, Nouvelle-Aquitaine. Yeah, it's rather lovely. This is the back end of it actually, and it's this place was built in the 11th century. But not just that, it's showing you the back end of it because if you look up there, they had a big fire. And originally the main keep, which is the big square part of the building, that was built in the 11th century. And then there's two turrets got built on the front there in the 1350. There's two there, basically on either side of the entrance. But they had a fire, and he said a lot of it got lost. Here, you see. So that was a long time ago. It wasn't recent, no. Anyway, so I've really go. Anyway, if you want to support the channel, you do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee. And the links are down below. And I need to find some shade because I am cooking here. I really am cooking. But this is a lovely place, isn't it? Anyway, if you want to come down there, you can. They charge €12 for an adult to look around inside the actual chateau itself, which isn't too bad. It's quite a bit to see there, to be fair. And it's the building's partly lived in, but also most of it's actually open to the public. And plus, I think they actually live in that bit. I think they live in the old gatehouse. It looks like people live in the gatehouse. But yeah, it's really lovely. And behind here also, just a bit here, you see all the trees? There's a woodland walks through there. It's really nice. And then you've got the old river down below as well with the weirs and what have you. Because there used to be a mill, an old grinder, a mule down at the base of the, on the river basically, just on the other side of this chateau. So it's it's quite an interesting place. It really is. It's deteriorating though. Let's take that turret there. You can see the spalling and the stone, where the water's got into the stone and froze, and it's damaged the stone. But it's quite nice at the corbelling at the top there, if you can see that. Yeah, right at the top there on the turret. And that is actually in really good condition still. But it's just the face of the main stones. But don't worry, it ain't gonna fall down anytime soon, because the sides of those stones, they're rather large. That they are. Oh, lovely place. Anyway, time for me to go, because I said to tell so ta-ta. And I hope the next government decides to act swifter to get rid of these people and not drag their heels. Get them out quickly. You can't have people like Chris Pincher, Owen Patterson, or any other gropers and what have you, as well as the lobbyists and stuff. You can't have them in government. You lose respect of the people. Unless that's what the people are into. Which I wouldn't be surprised because they voted for Brexit. Well, there you go. Anyway, ta-ta. Don't forget, boot down below, the like button and that, yeah. But also, comment down below as well, because I do actually read the comments. But you probably already know. Ta-ta.